Hi again, guys. Here we are back in the workshop again. Just flattening down the wings, trying to get them ready back up and get them ready back for painting. Alright, so just DAing them back down. Got a guide coat on it. They all been trimmed down and nipped down basically for primer. So we primed them up the other day, as you've probably seen in the last clip. And just basically everything's a mess at the moment. The kids busy the following morning here again with the rest of the bits and bobs. We've got how many you got left now? So the bumpers are done, rear diffusers done, nibbing down, side skirt basically. Well, this wing's been done, already done that. This one the kids done again. Right, so basically we got a few more panels to go before we start painting them back up again, and hopefully we can take it from there. But yeah, almost there now at the moment. So basically I thought I'd give the kid a quick hand as well. Right, 320 is down. What we normally do with this is basically once they're primed up, right, we actually, when I use 320 or 240 or this, depending, I mean these obviously haven't been, they're pretty good anyway, but yeah, we normally use, I mean I'm using 320 on this at the minute, right, and then I'm going to go over it with 500, and that should be good to go. Basically I normally use a little soft pad, one of these, works pretty well basically, right, for all the edges and everything. Right, so once all the edges are done, well, once all the center is done, I don't go crazy on actually sanding this down with the DA, because you end up making more imperfections in the round areas. So the best way to actually go about this is basically just DA down with 320 or 240, then put another guide coat, go over it with 500, and then you can always do the edges with a 500 soft pad or even a coarser one. Basically I normally use about 600, and then just run a scotch pad over it, right, just to make sure all the dust is off properly and I haven't missed anyway, and then hopefully use a bit of degreaser on there and ready for painting basically. Right, these, as I said, I mean the edges you can actually even use a soft pad on these. Basically you can block them sideways, right, or basically, but it works pretty well. Thing is with the orbital sandals, I mean, you can use the DA on there as well. The problem with these are you probably end up making a sharp lines to where some way it probably look a bit silly. But yeah, these are the hand basically ones. They're pretty good. They got like a smaller action rather than the other bigger ones. They are more aggressive basically. But these, as I said, there's not much there basically, but they are actually good for dry sanding. Right, I mean, it works well for me. I normally just use 320 on there and go along with 500 and a bit of a soft pad with 600, and that does my job basically. So hopefully guys, I'll see you in the next clip once we got all of these ready, and maybe in the spray booth having a go at painting them, and then we can take it from there. So I'll see you in the next clip. Right guys, welcome back. Here's another clip on the actual wings. Thought I'd make a quick video before I actually start going mad with it. The actual wings all been obviously primed and nipped down back with the bit of 600 grit. Today what we're gonna do is we're gonna pop some holes in these and put the actual brackets on, which actually go and hold the actual arches, right? Because obviously, being that these are fiberglass wings, a lot of people do just bond them on, but I've got the actual clips made, so it'll be a bit more easier to just clip the arches in than you just bonding them on. I mean, don't get me wrong, a lot of people just bond them on anyway. Not that it's a bad thing, but it's just at some point if you damage the car from the front or you want the bumper coming off, obviously these strips go all the way along the bottom, right? And same with the back, right? They actually follow down, so if they are bonded on, they're not really going to come off the wing, right? You'll be there with a knife messing about with it, and some of the stuff that you are obviously bonding on, the actual adhesive that you use is very hard, and it's very hard to come off as well. So hopefully what we're gonna do is we're gonna put some of these clips on there. It's like a bracket, and what it'll do is it will actually, the square bit, the actually arch clip will click onto it, right? I mean, don't get me wrong, I'll probably still end up, you know, because these clips, when you actually take the arches off, it's recommended that you actually get new ones anyway, right? So that's the only way they actually go into these. But I mean, I have used the old ones. They've been, you know, you just gotta be careful when you take them off, and they work well, to be honest with you. Never really had a problem. But so at some point, you know, most of the clips, when people take the arches off, they'll be either damaged or, you know, torn off, or there might be one clip missing, so you might just end up putting adhesive there. But you rather do that than putting adhesive on the whole wing and, you know, making a monkey out of it afterwards, right? So let's start with some drilling, and I'm not gonna make a crazy long clip because, as I said, I'm trying to make the clips as short as possible at the moment. But I'll just show you some of the basics that, well, you know, you can do basically if you are putting these clips on and they're not already bonded on, I mean clipped on when you get the wings. Because I mean, I normally put these on after I paint the actual item, because it doesn't make any sense painting this as well and then it just looks a bit shabby, right? So I'm gonna get my kid who's standing here anxiously,
alright guys,
right, to hold the camera while I start drilling this wing. So we got some small hole templates here anyway, the right size. Alright. So all you're gonna do is just pop them through. Alright, and do the same with this. So basically that's what you do. So these things basically, when you put them on, they will line up with that. They've got a little flange there, basically it's engraved in for this to actually sit, so it's flush, so the wheel arches don't look off when they actually been put on. Alright, so what we're going to do now is I'm going to change the drill. Well, actually what we might do is just pop a little hole in there anyway, so it'll help the actual cone to cut through easily. So this is the center part of it. Alright, so all you do is basically just take your time, cut these off, drill them through, and what we're going to do now is we're going to use a different tool. It's like a drill cone, and you go through the center of it. So that's roughly there, and what happens is that goes on top of these. Alright, so these rivets, actually all you do is once the item is painted, smack them off. So there you got a perfect hole, right, for the actual things to clip on, and so on. You do the same thing basically with the rest of them as I've just done. And also the rest of these, they already templated, right? So if you pop a hole, through one of these and just make it to a, you're happy with the size of the actual, that's about right basically, because as I said, they are, I'm not sure if you can see this guys, but if you look at this, normally what I do is I leave a bit of guide coat on here, so when we go to rub these, you can actually see the actual whole template. I'm not sure if you guys are getting this. Is that close enough? Right, you can actually see the whole template, so you know what kind of size hole it is basically. So all you're doing to this is the same thing, pop it in the center, right, and just drill the size out. There you go, that makes a perfect hole. And these are obviously for the rest of the fixings to go on, right? And there's some at the top, there's some obviously at the bottom of the wing, at the side mirror. There's quite a lot of holes basically which you have to pop through. So I'd rather do this beforehand than having them painted and then basically go, you know, sometimes you might end up missing something, right? And this slips and it ends up going somewhere, or this slips, right? You know, the drill actually you can end up damaging the actual rest of the item. So ideally I would do all of this right before actually painting it, so they're ready to go on. And you just do the same thing with the rest of them. There's some holes here basically, right? There's one here, there's should be one there, and there's 3 holes here, and I think there's 2 where the actual side mirror goes, and then you have the underneath where the actual clips go. Same with these, right? You can actually see the actual holes basically where, there you go, you can see them. This is where the actual clips go, right? The plastic clips. And then you got, I think, 2, right? Basically same thing as what you take off on the actual original one. But yeah, after obviously this is painted, you just pop these out, fix the rest of the screws in, but we'll be going on with that later on in the video. Right guys, the holes have all been done, they've all been drilled out, right? So that part of the job's done. You can see both of them. That's where the plates are gonna go. Same with the top, and the insides have done as well. So yeah, these are all sorted out, ready to go into the spray booth and get painted over. So God bless, I'll see you till next time. Thanks.